What up? It's your boy RPG. Red, purple, gold. Kilos. Panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My heart is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold. Luxury of my life is all I know. It's all I know.
Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope that everybody is having a fantastic day. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, regardless of whether you are joining us from the world. Thank you so much for being here. We are here at episode 27 of Artist on Artist, and this week we've got the spotlight on a really special artist, Babyyy J, and I'll be bringing him up in just a moment here. But guys, make sure, and anybody that's live or anybody that's catching this later, definitely get subscribed to the Babyyy World YouTube channel, and make sure and turn on all notifications so that you don't ever miss an episode of Artist on Artist, like we're here, or any of the Babyyy reviews or any of the other events or different episodes that we have coming from the Babyyy community. So definitely get tapped in, get subscribed, and definitely join us for this episode. Happy everybody that's here, and then for any future artists that we have coming onto the show. But guys, like I said, we are here at episode 27 of the Artist on Artist, and this week the spotlight is on a really, really special guest, Babyyy J. So let's bring him up to the stage.
Yeah, appreciate that. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Babyyy J, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, boss?
Man, I am doing so good. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just get it off started. Simple. How's the day going, sir?
Man, it's been great. Shit, I just been chilling, and I'm glad to be on the podcast, man. I'm glad. It's an honor to be, the 27th guest. You've had a lot of great artists on here, and I'm sure you'll have a lot more in the future. So, it's an honor.
Appreciate that, man. I mean, it is a little bit of a trip at times. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I sit back and think, like, wow, you've literally had 26 other artists like come and join you on this, and listen to all that music, like had all these conversations. But then what's crazy is that, either the day after, maybe 2 days at the most, but usually the morning after, like I'll watch the entire episode again just to be like, how did it go? Like, was my flow good? Like, was the overall interview good? So it's like, I've got a list of like, okay, I know my top. I know the ones that are like kind of in that middle. And like, I know the ones where I'm like, oh, okay, I wish I would have done better there. But it's definitely like, it is a trip at times where I'm like, wow, we really have done this. And yet when we just had Vario the other week at 25, I'm like, this is kind of a big deal. Like, we're halfway to 50 or 25% away to 100.
Yeah.
Snap. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm gonna be honest, just like straight up front, I'm gonna just be honest. Like, I've been on a couple interviews, with the underside and everything, but I've never really, like, other than underside, I've never done one. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna try to do my best to answer every question and
nice.
Just be as truthful as I can, man.
No, of course. Well, you know what? And I mean, this, and I think, in a general way, I mean, I tell all the artists and just people that, want to ask about getting an interview that, none of this is like, gotcha. I'm not trying to have like an expose here. Like, this is not it's a spotlight. Like, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm taking the light, I'm putting it on you as the artist, but then, and I'll talk about it, kind of a little bit more after we play the first song, but just in general, like, it is about wanting to put that showcase and put you up on that pedestal and be like, tell us about you. Tell us about the music that you're doing. What are you creating? Give us more information about what we can expect. Like, what are you doing? And then hopefully by this, it's just another foundational stepping point for you as the artist, being like, hey, you know what? Maybe I've done this and this and this, But boom, like, let me show you the interview I did on Artist, you know, with RPG, because like
Absolutely.
this thing was amazing. And, or like, I loved where I went with the questions or whatever, like, you know, whatever that thing is. So it's like, it's never about trying to figure out what beef you're involved with or gotcha, like, you just said that differently 2 minutes ago type of thing. Like, it's about giving you that spotlight and being like, hey, here's Babbyy J, let me tell you about me, you know, a little bit more than maybe you didn't know.
Absolutely, and that's what I appreciate about Buzzy World, man. Y'all do everything the right way, and it's not it doesn't feel like a got you type of thing. So yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Well, and guys, let's just get this episode started out just you know, like I like to be able to do, and actually now making me realize, okay, let's bring up YouTube music.
All right.
All right. So let's share that with you guys. And so I've got Babbyy J pulled up on YouTube music, and let me grab that, share that. And so I want to start out the episode just like I do with every episode, and start out with some music, get people moving and grooving, get their souls upbeat, feeling good. And well, with somebody like Babbyy J, let's just say, why not start at the beginning? Because the song is amazing, and it's absolutely one of my favorite ones that I wanted to be able to showcase tonight. And that song is called Motion.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. So let's press play on Motion.
Finally, I got motion. Drinking liquor as the sand feet in the ocean. Up in the condo, got a chick with my devotion. Never thought I could feel this type of emotion. She a lead in every way, even well spoken. Yeah, that's my lady, that's my shine, my me and more. And she can stick around for time, she ain't no whore. As long as you don't fuck shit up, you'll learn my lore. Cause we got plenty of time, I ain't gonna lie, you won't get bored. I got so much from my left show, I need a money counter. I step up to the scene, they greet me like I'm Austin Powers. They want my autograph and shit, but I don't follow cameras. Yeah, that got me feeling sleepy, been up for too many hours. Cause I'm a hustler, no discussion, homie. I'm writing lyrics in the club, it's always sucking on me. I hear my music in the back, can't get enough on me. I really did this shit like Steph, I hit a look away 3. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of saying, bitch, I got motion. I say that shit so much, I'm starting to think that it's my slow. 25 gonna be the year for me, the year that I get old. Told my mom that I'm the prophecy, and that shit gave her closure. And I told her and the rest of my fam that I was chosen. I had people close to me that was saying that I could hope. Like I ain't never seen no lyrics from you, you just a poser. Really can't do nothing that I can do, that's why you moan. Shout out Dylan Gage, the judo improve, they all believe. If you ever have some doubts about me,
Yes, I love that song.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot.
I absolutely love that song. And now, I mean, I've said this on other, you know, interviews that I've done, and there's definitely aspects to some of the either artists that I've listened to or aspects of their music that I'm just like, oh my God, like one reason that I'll fall in love with one artist as opposed to another is just more like a vibe or like a feeling, like it's just a personal thing to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like this like inspired me, or this took me on a journey. And then this artist was just great. Like, you know what? But maybe I didn't get taken on a journey. Maybe they didn't inspire me. And like I said at the beginning of the interview, I wanted to give a quick little bit of a backstory about Babbyy J, because overall as artists, like we've, you know, been in and around each other's posts and, you know, known about each other. But, and then, you know, we talked about this interview a few months ago. And then at the time we were scheduling out to there, and then we get, okay, now we're scheduling to here. Boom, let's get you on the calendar. And then have had those artists that have been on. And then this last week has just kind of been tough. Like, you know, not like anything, just stupid stuff. But at the same time, like, it's just been tough. And yet when I heard Motion, and not just this song, but the album Motion as the whole, package, I was blown away. Like, and I hit him up on, I slid into his DMs and I was like, listen, this is a top 3 album that I've heard this year. Like, and that was that was like not me trying to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I really want him to come onto the show. Like that was like legitimate. I heard this album and I was like, oh my God, like I'm blown away with how much I did not need to turn it from any song. And yet this song to start it out was perfect. Like, I love its vibe. It's got this really fun, like, it doesn't have a summertime song feel because the type of the beat doesn't match that, but its vibe and that feeling of like, okay, yes, like it just makes you happy, like being out in the sun does. So Babbyy J, so tell me about Motion. Tell me about starting out the album, and we'll get more in depth once we move to the corner of 10th and music and we're focusing more on the album and we can talk, that total piece as like a direct aspect. So the questions will be a little bit more specific. But with this song, and I ask this as an artist that cares about it a lot, and when I do my albums, I do the same thing. What was like the mindset of wanting to pick this song as the first song to start the album with? And was there any pre-thought process of like going into this album that I wanted to try to create a song that sounded like this for the beginning? Or did you have this ready to go and said, okay, it sounds like a song that would start the album maybe more than in the middle of the end? What was your thought process behind that?
Well, to be honest, man, I had made this was one of the final songs I did for the album.
Really?
Yeah, it was. And Malachi Manson and JJ Smitty, man, they really helped me in this album. And I started with some of the middle songs you hear in the album are kind of the first songs I did.
Mm-hmm.
This was literally like probably, I think, the final night of recording the album. This was one of the songs I did. And
wow,
the reason I did it was because I just felt like it was a good way to start the album. The beat kind of matches like an intro to an album, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just did it that way, and I thought that it sounded great. JJ Smitty is beyond, like, I just want to shout out him real quick. JJ Smitty is so good at he mixes, engineers, he does all of this shit, man. Like, I found a lot of these beats on YouTube, and that's just the truth of it, but when I made this song, it felt different. Like, it felt like, okay, this could definitely be like an intro to an album. And the whole album, of course, is called Motion. And I just thought, well, I think it'd be like the perfect first song for an album because it's called Motion. So it matches the name of the album, obviously.
Yeah.
And it just came together so well, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw this as the first song. And I've got a lot of people behind me and a lot of people that respect what I do, and I appreciate it so much, man. And so I felt like this was a good song to kind of just start the album with, you know what I mean?
Totally. Well,
Yeah.
and the reason that I ask as well, nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, just was hitting Malachi back. No, so I mean, the reason that I ask kind of in the sense is because I was thinking exactly the same thing as you just said, where I was like, he did this on purpose. Like, that's why I wondered, where I'm like, you didn't just have this song ready to go and, oh yeah, it just, we just kind of did this. Like, it just felt so purposefully and like perfectly placed that I'm like, there's no way he just did this in a vacuum, and it just happened to be like this without any forethought or like, oh, let's plan and prep for this. Like, I was so impressed with that song just in a general way, but yet as a person who really cares about albums and really wants to hear what the artist tries to like actually put together and say, on this album, I wanted this to be the theme, or I wanted to take you on this level of a journey because I wanted to start you here. And then at that song where it's going to bring you down, like kind of bring the feels out in you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And then it'll bring you back up and maybe kind of, leave you in like maybe on an up or maybe on a little bit of a low. But when I was listening to your album, I was like, wow, this is so well put together. Like, I can't wait to talk to him just how he mentally put this together, because it just felt like, I'm like, wow, I'm like talking to a me here, just so like intricately cares about how you place the music, and that it's not just based on, let me put my 4 or 5 songs I think of the best on track 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that's the album. Type of thing. So I love that.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things that when me and Schmitty were making the album, I was like, man, I want it to be I want to have consistency in the album. I want the album to start out with like the fast-paced songs that can get people going, and then later in the album you see, I know you've listened to it, and I just first off, I appreciate everything you've said, man. It makes me feel like my hard work is paid off, because I worked really hard on this album, man. I really did. And just the way that I put every song into this album, like track 1, track 2, it's got to be this. It's got to be this. It's got to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of all connected. And I definitely feel like I did a good job at, like the intro to the album all the way towards the outro. Like, I wanted the first half of the album to be kind of, fast paced and something you can really get grooving to. And then the second half kind of to be like, the real Babbyy J and what he's been going through the past couple months. Cause 6 months ago, I was in a rough time, and the album came out in March, and that's, 6 months ago was when I was going through all this stuff in this album. And so I felt like it was just, I don't know. Yeah, this is definitely one of the final songs I've made on the album. And I was like, you know what? We're going to call it Motion, because the whole album talks about how I'm getting motion. And I just felt like it was the perfect start to the album. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. 100% agree. So let's shift gears a little bit. Simple question. Let's keep it easy. But I always like to ask every artist that I have come on, because I think it's such a good, easy question, but yet it's always so cool if the story behind it is really cool too. But let's talk about your name, about Babbyy J, and tell me about, the evolution of the name. Is that the only moniker that you've ever gone by? Have you ever had any other, names or like artists, like stage names that you've gone by? Like, tell us about that and how kind of the evolution of your name to this point has come through.
Yeah, for sure. It started with, so I started making music back in 2020, COVID hit, and I was bored. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something new. And I started making music. Cool. And it started with like just my phone being under the TV as a beat. Like, I didn't know what BandLab was. I didn't know what FX Studio was. I didn't know any of that existed. You know what I mean? And when I first started, I went under Babbyy J. Like, that's always been my name, is Babbyy J. And that's mainly because the guy I was working with a lot when I first started, he's like, he that's just what he called me, Babbyy J, because my name, my real name is Jake. So Babbyy J, and it was just one Y. It wasn't 3 Ys. It was just Babbyy J. And so I've always had the same stage name, but I had to switch it up. A couple of years ago, I had to add like 3 Ys to the Babby name. You know what I mean? Like Babbyy J, like 3 Ys. Yeah. That's because there was another artist going under Babbyy J, and I didn't want like, when I would drop music, it would go under his what do you call it? His profile.
Yeah, the distribution. Interesting.
Right. His distribution went under the same as mine, because we have the same name. You know what I mean? And I don't know why that happened, but anyways, it wasn't a big deal to add a couple Ys to the name, and I feel like it kind of adds to my it kind of adds to the just the name, you know what I mean? Just having the extra Y's in there.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of dumb, but it's just something that I, you know. So it really, I've always had the same stage name. It really just started with
Cool.
my homie back in 2020 when I first started making music, and he's like, "Yeah, you should go by Babbyy J." And so, you know, I went by Babbyy J, and then I had to eventually add the 3 Y's due to that reason. But I've always gone under the same, you
Under
know.
the same name.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, nice, very cool. I like that. I mean, and I definitely think that there's something to be said. Excuse me, and it is definitely important. You know, like in the sense where at least I could understand how there might be other artists with that name Babyyy J, especially like how many Lils do you have, or you know, blah 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 blah. Like, you know, what even with just the word baby, you know, in their name, like, you know, how many people have that? So I think that it's understandable that there might have been another artist, but at the same time, like that mental like connection of like Babyyy J equals you equals Babyyy J, and having to consistently make them think of another name, or oh no, that's right, he used to be called that, now he's called something else. Like after a little while it gets become too difficult to follow, and then they're just like, okay, well, why do I need to put in the work to follow when the other person doesn't change their name and I don't need to think about it, you know, type of thing.
Exactly.
So I think that there's something about it that's important to it. Like, you know, you don't need to like, you know, destroy your whole life over it, but I don't think it's unimportant just to be like, okay, let me add a couple more Y's because it doesn't change the name or who I am as an artist.
Exactly. So, that was my thought process. Like, you know, I'm the same person. I'm still Babyyy J.
Yeah.
I just have to change up something in the you know, I have to change up something that puts me, you know, like in a different category than the other Babyyy J. And there is another Babyyy J out there, and he's not bad. I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty good at music.
Okay.
And so I just, you know, my thought was, you know, well, I don't want to have to every time I drop a song, I don't want to have to go into DistroKid or whatever platform I'm using to distribute music. I don't want to have to go into that and you know, have a whole ass conversation about like why this single's on the wrong platform. So I just figured it'd be easier to add a couple Y's to my name. And I feel like it kind of adds more character in a way, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's where that came from. Yeah.
Yeah. And to have to not have those emails and that back and forth every time you want to release a single.
Exactly.
That's 100% the only reason you need to say.
So much better. Yeah, like that's definitely the main reason. It's like it's so much easier to not drop a song and then you have to go email you have to email Apple, you have to email Spotify, YouTube, you know what I mean? You have to email all of them and talk about like, man, this song's on the wrong what's it called? I don't want to be that guy. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna add a couple Y's to my name. And in the end, it feels to me like it adds more character because it's like a drawn out name, and it's like it's a very when you see the name, you kind of associate it with me at this point.
Yeah.
So you know that's kind of how I went about it. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. And so now, with the release of Motion as the album, and I know that you said, you know, that you were really proud of, you know, of releasing this one, and you know, like when you were talking about like the 21 freestyle challenge, like, okay, I just turned 21 as well. So was that more or less like at a time frame while you were making this album, or did you and Malachi have that one ready to go and then you just added it to this album?
It was kind of you know, with Motion, I was going through a lot of personal things when Motion was in development, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the songs that I had done. It's like it's not a really long song, it's about 2 minutes. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write some lyrics and see what I can do. It's one of those jerk beats. Have you heard of jerk beats? Yeah, so it's one of those. It's just a jerk beat where it keeps you on your toes. It's not really, it doesn't really have like a beat drop. And so I wrote like, you know, I wrote my part on that and I did it in the studio. And I just like, sometimes with artists, I'm sure you know, we just get stuck sometimes. and we don't really know how to either finish a song or how to start a song or something.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm a big fan of Malachi's music. I think he's great, and I think that you know, it's not like the music he makes isn't like a lot of people's music, and I think he's just great with what he does.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey man, I was literally in the studio with Schmitty and Malachi. They were both there. I was
Mhm.
like, hey man, you want to come over here and throw on a verse? And he went in there and like he took maybe 5 minutes max on that verse, and he just, I mean, he's so good, bro. He can freestyle, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I threw him in that, you know, he jumped on the verse, he jumped on the song and everything, and then I was like, okay, this is gonna release on the album. And so, well, I turned 21 back in February, and so we released it as a single, but I also released it on the album. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
But we released it as a single before the album even dropped. It wasn't even a thought to go on the album, but I thought that I should throw that in there in the album because it was just such a good song, and it got such good feedback. Like
Yeah.
people really liked that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was a full freestyle on his part. My part was definitely you know, I wrote it down, and
Yeah.
you know, I was gonna try to make a song out of it, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna see what Malachi can do, and he just blew me away with his verse, and
Mhm.
so we dropped it as a single, and then it was also on the album. But that definitely wasn't one of the songs that like I've made songs with Schmitty and Malachi in the past that were
Mhm.
like, okay, this is just gonna strictly be a song on the album, like a filler song almost.
Yep.
But that was one of the ones that really stood out to me, so I dropped it as a single as well. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I like that. And we'll definitely come back around and do like a full focus on 21 Freestyle. I just wanted to kind of get a base in regards to more of like your age now. So then, okay, so you just turned 21 in February. So then you are, okay, so then that was like more or less right at the time. And not
Yeah.
like, oh, 3 years ago when I turned 21, we had the song ready to go. And then I just had it in the vault and put it on there now. So that's what I wanted to get a gauge on. Okay, so then you
Absolutely.
just turned 21. So then
Yeah.
you are, so then you released this album, you know, about a month or so after the fact.
Yep. Yep.
So before this album, how many, like, or in the sense of, I guess, maybe songs that you maybe have in the vault comparatively to like ones you actually put out and distributed before you got Motion? Like, do you have a big vault just kind of with a bunch of stuff, or is what you put out kind of what you have?
Well, the headphones I'm using right now
Mhm.
are the same ones I used to record with. And
Wow.
I'd never
Okay.
known, I never knew what a studio, I knew what a studio was, but
Yeah.
I'd never been to a studio. And, you know, with all the personal stuff I had going on in my life, I felt
Mhm.
like it was just the right time to get into the studio and see how different the sound sounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the sound from headphones to actual studio equipment is just astronomical.
Yeah.
It's way different. And I mean, so all the songs that I had before Motion were just based, I literally just used these headphones right here to make music.
Yeah.
And so I hit up Smitty one day and I was like, hey man, I'd like to come through. And I came through, and you know, we built up the album, full studio album. He mixed
Mhm.
everything, and he did a phenomenal job. And you know, the music before Motion came out was
Mhm.
very, like, I don't want to say it was bad, but it wasn't where Motion is. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I felt like Motion definitely progressed me in a way.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess I'd say it's just it's a lot different, and
Yeah.
I definitely use the studio a lot. And you know, Schmitty and Malachi were always so supportive of me. Like every time I'd make a song, they would tell me how good it was, even when I didn't think it was
Yeah.
good enough for the album. And my album, you know, Motion has 16 songs on it, so that's quite a lot of songs, I would say.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
That's a full size album.
yeah, it's a full-sized album, and like originally I was gonna go with like 12 max, but then
Yeah.
I added like 4 songs at the very back end of it, and I was like, okay, I think these could definitely do something. So yeah.
Nice. And I definitely didn't mean to make that kind of comparison in the sense of like,
No, you're good.
oh, the music before was bad. It's just more so I 100% agree with you
Yeah.
of wow, like the level of
Yeah.
growth and improvement and just in general, like your sound. And if, like you said, if what you're doing to record motion is just off of those headphones you're wearing and that little tiny speaker in there,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, I am, because when you said I'm going to the studio, like, and I only mean this in the sense of because I do actually go to like a studio, like a physical place, and I'm in a booth, you know, type of a thing. So when I hear people say that, like I just kind of automatically think that, like what my studio experience is, and I listen to Motion and I'm like, yep, makes sense. That
sure.
tracks. Because
Absolutely.
when you hear the music, like, and I don't mean this in any way of like, oh, disparaging against people that are, you know, oh, you're only using BandLab, or, you know, this is what your recording setup is. You're just holding this little microphone in your hand as opposed to like singing into a microphone.
Yeah.
That whenever I do hear music, like there are times where you can hear it and you're like, okay, yep, good song, good on you to get that finished. But man, if I could hear this same you in a legitimate studio where you've got like actual equipment that are like really helping you create this sound, how much better you will sound will be amazing. And so like when I'm hearing Motion, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely going into a studio and doing the full meal deal, because when I hear it, I'm just like, it sounds that good.
It does, yeah, and I'm so impressed with Schmitty, just the way he mixed everything. And I mean, you see a clear difference. And I don't know if you listen to oh shit, sorry, Alter Ego.
Was that a previous album or just a song?
That was a previous album. It had like 8 songs on it, and it was all BandLab and all headphones. But like when I stepped into the studio, it was just a whole different feel, man. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, it's just such a different feel. You know what I mean? And it's like, I encourage every artist to really find somebody that can understand their music and help them mix it and engineer it and do all the things. You know what I mean? Like Schmitty does all the things, and you know he's always, ever since I started going to the studio. Yeah, it's been like he's been my guy. You know what I mean? And I would never change it for the world. I feel like. Yeah. He's just the best at what he does, and he doesn't get enough recognition for what he does. He's just so good, man. Yeah. And there's definitely a clear difference in you know, recording on headphones in a car with BandLab versus going to an actual place where you have a microphone and you have someone there to tell you, hey, you know, you do a bar or whatever, and he's like, hey man, you might want to redo that. It doesn't sound great, like from my end. And it's just it helps you, and it's not even them trying to be it's not even Schmitty trying to be like an asshole or anything. He's just trying to help me make the best song that I can, and you know what I mean, like the way that it sounds. You know, he wants it to sound as good as I want it to sound. Totally. And that's something special that a lot of people, I encourage every artist to try to find, because that's something really special, man. It's like he always was there to tell me, hey, like you messed up on this, like just redo it. And it's not even like he's not even dogging on me. It's just constructive criticism, and I take it very well. Right. You know, I feel like Schmitty and Malachi would tell you that as well. Like, I take constructive criticism very well, and you know, because I want it to sound the best as it can as well. You know, that's the main goal. Like, if you can have the best song in the world, but if it's not mixed well and it doesn't sound good, it's not gonna do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, and the difference is, and you and I've had this conversation, but you know, for everybody that's listening right now, and guys, also just to pause really quick, thank you so much. We've got 7 people actively live watching us right now. So thank you everybody that's tuning in, that has already tuned in, that will be watching later. Definitely put down any questions in the comments that you guys might have, and we can definitely get to those. But in general, also, if you're watching this later after we've also finished and we're not live, let us know what song you thought was your favorite in those comments down below as well. And also definitely go, as soon as you're done with this interview, then go on to YouTube Music or any platform, find Babbyy J, Babyyy and go and run up those numbers, because like I said, it is not like like hyperbole or whatever, or also maybe that I've listened to every single album that's come out this year. But of the music that I have listened to, like, I put Wham, the new album by Lil Baby, right up there next to Babbyy J.
Yes, Wham is so good, bro.
Wham is so good. I listened to yours now probably close to 20 times since I initially heard it last week.
Wow.
And like a month ago or whatever, like I just got like some little thing like, oh, you're like a top 10%, like, you know, listening to Lil Baby because of the amount of times you've listened to this Wham album, or just like him as a general way. And I'm just like, wow, like that's pretty cool. Like that this album of Motion has really kind of taken up as much of my own personal zeitgeist as it really has. So
I appreciate that so much, dude. I really do appreciate that. Like when I was making the album, you know, obviously Schmitty and Malachi were telling me, like, dude, you got something with this. But like when you're sometimes you pick out the things in yourself that are very oh fuck me, I'm so sorry. I'm like half drunk. But like, so the things that you like, you know, I pick out a lot of things that that are not as like, I don't know, like they just made me feel really good about this album, and they gave me a lot of motivation to actually drop it, because when I was making the songs, sometimes I was like, I don't know if this is any good, and they would hype me up. It's like, yeah, man, this shit's good. Like, you don't need to doubt yourself, and that's what we do over here, like in Underside. You know what I mean? That's what we do at Underside. I mean, it's such a good platform. It's such a good just such a good place to work for. It's like they're so good, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you know, one of the things that I mean, on top of just wanting to be able to give you the definite flowers and praise for the album, like,
I appreciate it.
I was so used to like the type of music that Schmitty was making, and Malachi was the one I heard the most. So I, in a sense, and you know, like oh, just in a way, not even like I was, you know, like, oh, trying to make, you know, some negative statement about it, but I just thought in my mind that I'm like, oh yeah, Underside makes, you know, more like hardcore, does more of this like rock, or if they are doing like Malachi's thing where it is much more dark, aggressive hip hop, but it's in that vein of being more like hardcore rock, as opposed to, oh, you're playing this in the club. Like, you know, that's not the type of music he's doing. And so I was blown away, because I mean, Schmitty is an amazing producer, but I've only heard him do that music. So I'm like, oh, okay, like he has his vein, he knows his lane, and he's really good at it. Then I hear you, and I'm like, wait, Schmitty did this too?
He did.
Okay, damn, he's an amazing producer.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, bro. It's like,
so,
and that's a great way to
blown away impressed.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because it's like Malachi and Schmitty, they both make different music, and it's like the music from from what I make is completely different. But man, like the way the work they do and the work they put in is so, like, it just blows you away. It's like they're so good at what they do.
Totally. And
you wouldn't think that, you know, Schmitty could produce an album like what I had, and then he could go produce what he had, but he's so versatile. He can produce anything. He's so good. He really is. He's one of, you know, to me, obviously, he's just the best. And like, I see, I 100% agree with what you're saying, man. Like, Underside has so many different genres, and we over here on Underside, we can do everything, bro. Like, it's really is an impressive thing. And like, Schmitty and Malachi got their own thing going. I got my own thing going. We can collab. We can. I've made songs with Malachi, obviously the 21 freestyle. I've made songs with Schmitty.
Yep.
It's you know, we can we can collab. It's a very interesting thing, and I really love it, man.
Yeah, nice. Love that. Okay, so let's get back to listening to some music again. Let's
yeah.
get on to focusing on another one of your songs. And so I was thinking about if I wanted to just kind of go in order or just move it around. And I think I'm actually going to stick with going in order. And
Okay.
so the next one I wanted to be able to play, and this just so happens to also be the second song on the album, but that's not on
Apology.
purpose. But in general, though, again, kind of like we talked about with how well it started with Motion, just again, the way the lyrics in the song, just the feel and that energy uplifting. It's just a great way to start an album.
Yeah.
But yet
yeah.
I love the change to Apology after the fact. It's such a perfect transition. Like it's not enough of a drop off to not to feel uplifting and still like get you moving, but yet it's
Mhm.
not in that same vein of
Right.
what Motion is, but it's that perfect dip a little bit. Like it's
Mhm.
just not in quality, but just like, oh, in just that vibe. Hey, we're
Yeah.
coming down on a different thing, but I'm still giving you that flavor. So again, guys, let's listen to Apology.
And real quick before you play
Of
Apology,
course.
I just want to like point out this was one of my favorite produced songs by Schmitty. Like the song sounded okay on BandLab and everything, and then
Yeah.
I get in the studio and he mixes it, and I'm like, bro, this is this is so different. Like it's
Nice.
just Apology is definitely one of those. Definitely top 3 on the album for me. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Love that. All right. So let's take a listen. Let me pull it up to the stage and let's take a listen to Apology.
Yes, sir. She want me to leave now, but
If she want me to leave, then I'm gon' leave, she'll end up calling me. She be saying shit that she don't mean to get that dog in me. I don't really think you want that, I'm all that, don't fuck with me. If you decide to call back, call me with an apology. Look, when the weekend gon' hit, I'm ready to get fucking lit. I still got tags on my feet, rockin' designer on my dick. Hopefully I spent that on my kicks, don't get me started on my whip. This naughty spot, I took your bitch, she stand out front and take some flicks. So she back to my crib in the mornings. I hold my handprint on her ass with no warning. I need to go cause one bitch around me seem like there's no motion. But bitch, I'm Babyyy J, which means I'm likely out of Trojans. She's so bad, I'm loving everything but it's beauty and what she have. I usually never do this, but for you I spend a bag. That's just cause I love you, girl, no need to go outside. But if you switching up on me, then that's a wrap for you. Girl, you was on and off of perks, but I won't rat on you. That shit ain't G, babe, but when you give me attitude, I start to think about how it'd be to turn my back on you. And I ain't sorry about that shit, I'll even laugh at you. Then I'll hit the bank with a smile, I got gratitude.
Yes. I love that song too. Well, I mean, basically all of them I do either love or really, really like. But again, I really do love that song. So now with some of the lyrics that you have, you know, because I do like with what you were putting it out, you know, that you do go through a mixture. Like you've definitely got like, you know, more, you know, in your face party beats where it's like, yep, okay, what I'm talking about or my lyrical content or whatever, it is just about this thing. It's not any more deep. It's not any, you know, like it is just, it is what it is, like boom, boom, boom. But then like with something like Apology, I feel like it's like a mixture. Like, you know, you're throwing in some real stuff, but yet you're encasing it in this kind of more upbeat, like, okay, I'm still talking some of my ish, but yet I'm giving you to you in this flavor where it's like, you know, I do like how you bring in a little bit of singing in this one too later in the song. You know, and again, it has that takeaway of just a happy song. So give us a little bit more about that background about Apology.
Well, with Apology and with a lot of the songs on Motion, to be honest, some of the songs are a little different, but with a lot of the songs on Motion, it's like I said, just what I was going through, you know, okay, I think it'd probably help if I gave some insight. Like 6 months ago, I was going through a breakup with a fiance. So it's a big deal, you know what I mean? And it was just times where she would you know, it's like she would kind of make me feel like I'm the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, in a way, I kind of made that song based off of, like, you know, like the chorus. Even if she want me to leave, then I'm gonna leave. She'll end up calling me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
it's just something that happened. Like, that shit happened. Like,
Yeah.
she wanted me to leave, and then she ended up calling me. And it's just like, with Apology, it's so true to me that it just made so much sense. Like, I don't really know a way to put it. It just works so well. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I said, with a lot of songs on Motion, it was that way. Like, a lot of the shit I was saying was actual stuff I was going through.
Yeah.
So I felt like that gave it a lot more gratitude, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like it gave it a lot more just realism in the lyrics. Because, like, I don't, a lot of you know, a lot of times I don't rap about, or I don't sing about, like, bullshit. You know, it's all real to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's what I like my music to be, is like, well, you know, this is something I'm actually going through, and I'm sure there's a million other people in the world that are going through it, even if it's not at that specific time that I'm going through it. They're going through it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just, you know, it's something you can go back on and listen to, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what he was going through. I'm kind of going through the same thing. Like, I can really get into this type of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, and I think that that's, you know, exactly what I got from it as well, in the sense of, I could tell, especially from that chorus, like, I'm like you said, like, all right, you asked me to leave, I'm gonna leave, but you're gonna end up calling me. Like, I'm like, oh
Exactly.
wow.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
that's exactly what's gonna happen. Like, a lot of times, and you know, unfortunately, sometimes it is the ones that are our significant others, the people that we say we love the most, are likely the ones we're going to take it out the hardest on, because we don't have the guardrails up anymore. Like,
Yeah.
the love, quote unquote, has now made us feel like we're also invincible with whatever comes out of our mouths, which is
Yeah.
not true. But I think that a lot of times, you know, it is that type of a situation where it's like, okay, now you're taking extra for something that you shouldn't be, solely because, you know, either you're trying to hurt me and or push my buttons to make sure that you get that, you know, rise out of me. And so I think that that's what I loved about the song, where I was like, okay, you are presenting it to us as this upbeat kind of, you know, fun, oh hey, oh it's just, oh it's about this old time, like, you know, it's something simple and easy. But yet, when you really listen to the lyrics and drill down, you're like, oh wow, he's actually giving you some truth and some real world, you know, issues, either that he has gone through or that he's seen enough to kind of be able to talk about it to this level. So I was really impressed, where the way you brought it about to the song, but then also your voice and the way that the beat was, it's like, wow, you're really wrapping up some like important knowledge in this really like good tasting pretty shell. And I really like that, because I'm like, wow, like, he does know the assignment and is really like delivering every time. So I'm just really impressed.
I appreciate that so much. That's what I wanted people to take from it was, you know, it's a catchy song, but it's also it's so real, you know, like, it's something
Yeah.
that I went through. And I mean, I don't that's how most of my music goes. It's like, it's something that I went through, and yeah, it was very real, and it sucked at the time, but you got to make the best out of it. And sometimes I feel like with music, that's just the best way to you know, let your feelings out. You know what I
Totally.
mean? So with music, that's my main thing with music. That's how I get through the day. You know, I listen to music start to finish of the day, and
Yeah.
then when I make music, it's very like you said, it's just very like, he's going through this. You know, I can relate to this. Some people, you know, some people don't relate to that, and that's okay. Some people have you know, some people are doing great, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a lot better than when I dropped Motion. And it's like, but some of the best music that you have is when you're in your darkest times.
Yeah.
And I think that's a
Absolutely.
special thing, because it's just like, man, you can really make something like special out of something so just dog shit. You know what I mean?
Right. So let me ask you this, and let's get real for a second. You
Yeah.
know, gonna go a little bit deeper on this one.
Okay.
So all of these other, extracurricular stuff are going on like 6 months ago, like you said, maybe a little bit longer ago too, because I'm sure that,
Yeah.
all of that with a fiance wasn't just over a day or two. I'm sure that was over a little while.
100%. Yep.
But where you are right now with the release of Motion, in March, like you said, like, did it feel in a way like Motion got to close some doors for you in a sense? Like, okay, now I've actually gotten out some of this stuff. Like, I put it out into the music too. There's some truth in there. There's some really fun things, but yet there's some like legitimate reality too.
Mhm.
Did it feel like there was any sort of closure, not for everything, but maybe certain aspects with the album being done, or you still feel like you're working on it even to right now?
Absolutely, man. It's just like when you listen to an album that really speaks to you. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
it helps you get through things, and that's a lot of what Motion was. It helped me get through a lot of stuff I was going through, and absolutely. I mean, that's like the answer for that question. Just absolutely, like, it really helped me. You know what I mean? And it's just like I said, just making music based off of what you're going through is so important to your health in a way.
yeah.
Like, I absolutely do believe that it helped me get over what I was going through. So yeah, for sure.
Nice. I like that. I mean, because I think that it is so important to understand that how healing, how whatever big adjective word you can put on there, music can be a help to that. It's absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
So, and I think too, even to the same extent, like I said before, that you tried to package this song with a lot of realism, but up into a style of song that makes you feel like, oh, I don't need to be focused on the lyrics maybe as much. But when you do and you hear them, you're like, oh, wow, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, he's really going for it. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to be able to go back and listen to another song, and
Okay.
I wanted to be able to start with one of the songs that you had release as one of the singles. Now, let me know if I'm correct, but we had Way Over You, 21 Freestyle, and then was there a third?
There was two more. There was
Oh, there's four you released as singles. Okay.
yes. It was Way Over You was the very first one. That was like one of the first studio songs I did.
Okay.
And then 21 Freestyle was in there. There was another song I did that was kind of, it wasn't really, it didn't really heal me or anything. It was just kind of a song I did for fun called Nothing on You.
Okay.
And then there was a fourth song called Prophecy. And that one,
Prophecy.
yeah, that one was really,
Love
that's probably my favorite song on the album, because that did have a lot of realism in it, but it was
Yeah.
also very catchy, I thought. And so
Yes.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Nice. That's definitely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
because that's what I wanted to start with this part of the interview, was to go over a little bit more of the singles, and let's talk about Way Over You, and then we'll listen to it, and then we'll kind of come back with some additional questions. But what was your mental process? What was the overall like step 1, 2, 3 in regards to deciding how and or this is going to be a song that gets released as a single, as opposed to Motion or some of the other ones that you didn't release? Like, what was that thought process of like, yes, this, not that? Like, for Way Over You, what was the reason that you did release this as a single?
Well, I think the main reason was because the name itself, Way Over You, like,
Yeah.
and you hear in the chorus, like, I'm way over you, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a kind of a song that put me in that place. It was like, I'm way over you, I'm moving on to something better, and I'm moving on to something that would just, make my life better. So Way Over You is definitely one of those songs that I just had to release it as a single, because it felt like it was such a what do you call it? Big part of Motion. You know what I mean? And like I
Yeah.
threw it on the album because a lot of people liked it. I originally I wasn't gonna put it on the album,
Mhm.
but you know, after I saw the views it gets, that's my most viewed song. Like that's my most that's the song that's got the most plays.
Gotcha.
So you know, I felt like I just had to throw it on the album, and like if
Yeah.
people have already heard it, they're gonna skip it, whatever. But it was just a song that I had to throw on the album because I felt like it was like a change in my life. You know what I mean? It was a change of direction,
Yeah.
and it was very you know, it was like the next step forward in my life. Just admitting that I was way over that person, and I was moving on to better things. And that was actually one of the first songs I made when I hit the studio finally after Band Lab. You know, when I finally
Yeah.
got into the studio, I think that was the first song I made. You know, so I just felt like it just had to go on the album because it was just so right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And so,
Yeah.
guys, let's take a listen to that song. And again, this is a song called Way Over You, also one of the 4 singles that was released before the
Mm-hmm.
release of the album. So let's take a listen to it, Way Over You.
Hey Rick. Hey Rick.
Is you a model or an angel? I need you either way. The way you staring got me thinking I'm a famous babe. But let me tell you something about me, baby, I do not play. So don't play games around me, I'ma put you right in your place. You're not the same as the one you was fucking on yesterday. Don't raise your voice to me, I promise it'll be your last day. And I don't even wanna get upset with you. I don't got time for that, I got plans to move. And why you always telling me I'm arrogant and that you haven't said because you never been. When you told me that you never want a man again, I didn't think I'd see you with a man again. But it's okay, I moved way on and I'm way over you. I don't give a fuck about that bitch or what she say, that's all my mom. I know that's blunt, I make it known, I don't want doing no your drama. Take a trip to run away and roll a blunt behind. I'm overstays, I'm getting faded like a coon on the top. 2 days the trip, I pop a Xan, I'm up in Panama. When I touch down, it's paparazzi, I don't fuck with cats. Give the fuck about my face because I swear I throw attention, but I promise you don't even wanna see all that. I got a new whip, became blue, I'm at it black. Got a new bitch, she's so true, and that's a fact. Thought you knew this, I came up from flipping pad. Yeah, I've been through it, I speak fast, this isn't cap. Only time I have a cap is if I cap you with a pistol. I don't ever really do it, but I will with this issue. I stay out of the way if I can, I mean mostly. Sipping on at the crib and that's slowly. My girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
and again, like with these 3 songs actually on the album, this is track 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, again, like it's just sort of that, like, oh man, like I am doing them in this order almost, you know, just to like, oh, re-spotlight. Like, man, I love how much this album starts out so perfectly, and this song is really, really good. But yet it was also the first time where it's like, yeah, you brought in a little bit of singing on the previous song, but on this one I was like, oh, cool. This is
Yeah.
like a really catchy chorus.
Uh-huh.
It's like I like what you did with it because it's super purposeful, but there is this kind of like fun clubby aspect about it where you're just like sitting in the show be like, yeah, no, way over you, like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, just screaming it out at the, you know, out into the ether, you know, or into the universe type of thing. So tell us a little bit about Way Over You, and why do you think this is the most viewed song of all of your you know, songs out there at this point?
Because it's just so it's so real, you know. It's what I was going through at the time. I felt like I finally had a song that I could put out there that was progressing my what's the word? I don't know the right word for it, but it was one of those songs that I had to just it just made too much sense, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I made that song because it was a little bit after me and my fiance split up and everything, and
Mhm.
you know, I was over her and everything, and I don't know. I also think a big part of it was because before that song, I hadn't
Mhm.
dropped a song in like a year. It had been literally over a year since I dropped music, and people
Wow.
were kind of clamoring to get me back into it. People were kind of talking about like, "Yo, I want you to get back into music. Like,
Yeah.
you're not done. Like, you got a lot more. You know what I mean?" And so I was like, "Okay, well, let me find a beat that just makes sense for the song." And that's another thing. It was super catchy, and that's what I really appreciate is like music that has meaning, but it's also catchy. Like you can really get
Yes.
into the song. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, Wherever You is definitely one of those that hit home for me because it's so real and just stuff I was going through, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I kind of wanted to be able to focus on these three first tracks in the album because on top of that, like, hey, these are just Babyyy J,
Mm-hmm.
but you do have features on the album as well. And I think that the next song, because while I love 21 Freestyle, because you know, I now love listening to your music, but then
Yeah.
Malachi from Underside, at least specifically, was the
Yep.
one who I'd heard the most of. He was, the first one of Underside who'd had the first interview, on Artist on Artist. To be perfectly honest, like I think that, Malachi might have maybe still to this day the best interview that I've done, just
Mm-hmm.
from the sense of like some of the stuff he talked about and just his realism. And like I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you really like you went honest. Like, you didn't hold back from any of the questions I was trying to ask. So I was really happy about that. But the next song I wanted to focus on was WYA featuring YNS Judo.
Ah, yes.
Because if I had to pick the song that feels probably the most like pure, okay, I would be dancing to this in the club, this feels like that song, like
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
think that you have some other ones, like, and I agree with you, like Way Over You, I think it's a perfect club song. Like I think it's a fun summer type beat, but I think YWA or WYA, I think WYA is probably one of my favorite overall songs when you're talking about it in that vein. Like,
Yeah.
just such a great, fun song, but yet your style and your vibe with YNS Judo is fantastic. Because
Yeah.
I think there's that aspect of it too. Like, because I think about like some of those songs where it's like, oh, if you've got The Weeknd on there,
Yeah.
you better know that you are doing a completely other type of song
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have to try to match him like voice for voice, or you're doing something totally different where he can bring his voice up here and you're down here, like maybe a lower registry, higher registry. But like, I wouldn't want to be the one who's like, oh, who was that other artist on the song? Because all I remember
Yeah.
is this guy. Like,
Yeah.
you two both play off each other really well. So I wanted to play the song as well. And then when we come back to it, let's talk a little bit more about also too, like when you're working with your features, kind of like how you go about in regards to that process. Cause I think that's also really interesting too, is how you have that dynamic and you work with other artists when you actually have the song that you're trying to put together.
For sure. Okay.
All right. So let's take a listen, guys. This song is called YWA, Where You At, featuring YNS Judo.
Tell me, baby, where you at? I wanna pull it real bad. You feel me moving too fast, but I only move fast for the bad. Been a minute since I made you laugh. Feel lately you've been acting sad, and I really don't know if you thinking or not. Low key, you making me mad. Tell me, baby, do you feel me? When you riding with me, got you grinning. Got a styrofoam cup in my left and my right, got the wheel. I would say that we living. And little shawty gon' point out the ups in the corner. If they make a move, then I'm killing. Then this last year changed my life so much, I don't even know how I'm feeling.
Hey, I got locked up at the back for possessions, my niggas don't know how I'm feeling. I put a pint in that quake and they got me with faded on ice, because I be chillin'. Supposed to pay for the ground with a D's on the fit, I be giving them love, they be killing. These kids from my house was fuck with the tables and turn, this shit hitting different. I'ma get to that money, no 9 to 5 shawty tryna fuck on judo while I'm judged. She gon' suck a nigga, I'm on autopilot. Heard he fucking with me, man, I highly doubt it. If you snoozing, just know you losing. You know Lil Judo all about his fucking mind. Niggas getting comfy like a jacuzzi. All of that moochie shit, boy, get the fuck around me. She like, baby, where you at? She wanna put her bag. Lately, I been moving fast, but I'm out here getting the bag.
Boy, it's on my teeth. You see, I be running that shit up, I back up my talking. I'm money to friggin' she all up on me. I'ma put her pussy in a coffin. She like, baby, where you at? I'm right here, baby girl, and I'm gas. Just a button on my for the man.
Yes. Love that song.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that one. And I think it's because that I love your dynamic so much as just yourself when it's just you on a song. But yet, you know, the song with Malachi, this song, you know, with SB Pooh, like, I think they're all really, really good. And so I'm like, oh man, I almost enjoy his feature songs as much as, you know, just the you songs that are just you. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about this song. How do you go about getting your features? And then when you actually have them, like, are you now with Malachi? Obviously, you probably worked with him in the studio together, but like with YNS, is this just somebody who you kind of sent stems back and forth, or were you able to work with him in the studio too?
Well, so with YNS and SB Pooh, you remember earlier how I was talking about how like my name kind of came about? How my homeboy just called me Babyyy J. Well, that was SB Pooh, and so
Okay.
his twin brother is YNS Judo. That like they're twins, you know. They're both great at music. With YNS Judo, I hit him up one day. That was one of those songs that were kind of just like, this is so catchy and I like it. I like the beat and everything. So I sent it to him and I was like, hey man, just see what you can do on this. And so he sent me back his vocals. We actually didn't do that song in the studio together though. That was one of those that we I had to pull his vocals off of BandLab and have Schmitty mix them. So it sounds like it's from the studio, but my part is, but Judo's part isn't. Like his part is from BandLab. Yeah, it sounds pretty good for like a BandLab. You know what I mean?
Couldn't tell.
Right, exactly. And so Judo, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna send these vocals to Schmitty, and I'm gonna have him mix it and everything, and it's gonna sound just as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was just kind of one of those songs. It was like a vibe, you know. I felt like it was a good song. It I don't know. I like that song, and with Judo and Pooh, that happened with both of them where we made the song on BandLab, and I had to take their verses off of BandLab because I had started going to the studio, and they both live kind of far. Like they both live in Houston, and that's like 4 hours from me.
Gotcha.
So you know, we just didn't really have the time or you know all that to get them in the studio. But Schmitty he did a great job at mixing it and making it sound like it was, you know, studio version.
For sure. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. And so, okay, so then maybe let's focus in on Malachi. Since with him, I'm assuming you did work with him actually in the studio.
Yes.
So is there any difference in the sense of like how you go about your process when you're actually there live with somebody? Like, is there, you know, is it more about the collaboration or, you know, like what are some of those things that you like more about that, you know, situation other than just doing it by yourself on BandLab and then moving it around?
The thing I liked about working with Malachi in the studio is you're correct. We did work on 21 Freestyle. We were in the same place at the same time when that happened. The thing I like about that is, you know, you can share ideas a little bit more, and it's not just like, hey, can you throw a verse on this song, and then they send it to you. It's more like you're there with that person. You know what I mean? And it's very you know, it's a lot more in depth, and I think Malachi did a great job on 21 Freestyle, and you know, I mean, it is a lot different working in the studio with someone than just working and having someone send you their verse on a song that you'd already made. I guess like the biggest difference would just be like, which I didn't have any critiques with Malachi's verse, but if I had any critiques with it, it was like, hey, you need to change that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would be a lot easier to change stuff in this, like while you're right there together. You know what I mean? Compared
Yeah.
to having to text the guy and be like, hey, I don't like this part. And then, you know, you never know how long it's going to take to get that verse back. It might take a day or two,
Yeah.
might take a week. You know what I mean? But if you're in the studio with someone and you're working on something, it's very straightforward, and it's just like, okay, if something needs to be changed, it'll be changed. Like I said, Malachi did a great job on that, so you know I didn't really critique him or anything on that, but
Totally. Nice.
yeah, I think that'd be like the biggest difference.
For sure. Okay. Nice. I like that. So then let's so before we move over to the corner of 10th and music and kind of put a little bit more of the spotlight and the focus onto motion as the whole album. So what we're seeing here, because I've got some direct questions that I want to be able to talk about in regards to the album, more or less, you know, specific, like I want to talk about the cover art. You know, I want to talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about, you know, some of the, you know, placement in regards to the songs, you know, also some of just like the names as well. But before we did that, I wanted to be able to spotlight the other song that we were talking about in regards to one of the other features that you had, which was 21 Freestyle featuring Malachi Manson. And right when we were getting on to, you know, the virtual studio before we started the episode tonight, you had told me, they're like, oh, yep, and this one's also got the music video along with it too.
Yeah.
And I was so glad you had said that, because, you know, for like myself and for you, where it's like we do distribute so that we're going to be on all platforms, but yet what is that also process when you actually have a music video? How do you attach it to the music you've already released? Do you have to like do it at the same time? So I was glad that he let me know that, because I'm like, oh, now not only do I get to not only focus and spotlight the song, but the music video as well.
Right.
Because in general, people will definitely connect more to visual things overall, you know, than only auditory all the time, you know. So
Right.
I'm glad that we get to give them something visual too. So let me just really quickly present that page
Alrighty.
and share screen, and let's go over to YouTube. All right, share that. All right, great. All right, guys. So I've got the actual music video pulled up right here. So let's take a listen to Babbyy J featuring Malachi Manson, 21 Freestyle.
Yeah, liquor in my system, so tonight I'm feeling naughty. Damn, I see a freak, cause a little bitch, I need that body. I say, come here, hottie, what you doing in this party? I just turned 21, so I'm a savage like Jeff Hardy. Feel like I won the Super Bowl, I took on the Lombardi. Bitches drop their top for me, they said they wanna top me. I'm not gonna complain about that shit, she ride like Harley. This bitch got a BBL like, damn, you such a Barbie. I hit it once and said I'm done, so why you calling? Get up on my phone, I told you we was never locked in. We was only fucking on the low and most stalking. I don't want a relationship with you cause I'm a dog bitch. I know you never heard that shit before, I'm on my star shit. Just know if we got ties and you don't get more than you bargain. Look, when I walk in, just know I'm taking what I came for. She a side piece of me, but that's your main whore. Underrated model from New England up in Bangor. She made bank and she linked up with Babbyy J more. Cause baby, hear me, I'm that guy. They all stop and look cause I'm fine. I ain't most like the bitch, I'm fine. Let me stay up on cloud nine.
Shorty lie where you well floating off the bill. What is the deal? Shit too real. Running up this hill, turbulence like Jack and Jill. Like a sunset in the field, 10 times front line and center. Stab you with a hit, bitch, get a splinter. Right off in the sprinter, colder than the winter. Mission no come drive up, break your neck, make it wet. Off of my show, don't give a fuck what it is. Roll it up again. Super kick a bitch to the chair. Babbyy J. Malachi. Undesire. Just shit. Hey, bitch, what the fuck it is? Hey.
Damn, bro, I'm not gonna lie. That was so good. But
Hey, I
yet also
appreciate it.
too, because of now knowing Malachi for so long, I see that garage door and I'm like, we are home. We are here at the Underside.
Yes,
So
yes.
many music videos I've seen from you guys have all been shot there right in front of that garage door.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, of all the stories that these walls must be able to tell.
Yep. Yep.
I love this song. I think this is probably a top 3 song on the entire album for me.
Easily.
Because A, the song is just fantastic. Even if Malachi wasn't on it, still be a good song.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing and understanding Malachi's music so much to the point that I've heard everything that he's released up to this point multiple times,
Yeah.
that I think this is the best he's ever sounded. Like, and I mean that in the sense that, like, I really like his other music that he does, but because me as the artist is still the hip hop R&B guy, I love to hear his music and hear his voice with the added things he has for this, but in the vein of trying to be a hip hop R&B song, as opposed to being this more aggressive, like rock mixed with some like rap type of vibe.
Uh-huh.
When I heard this the first time, I'm like, oh my God. And I had to listen to it again. I'm like, is that Malachi? Oh my God. Because like just the beat choice, the way he does not do anything like that, like that thing he does with his voice. I was blown away where I was like, wow, I love the Malachi regular thing, but damn, I'd love to hear 25, different freestyle, featuring Malachi with this, like, give me 22, 23, 24, 25, like, that type of thing, where every year just make a new one for your birthday. Like, just keep giving me these, because it was that good. And I was expecting now what your sound would be almost to the same side where what you would be like if I heard you on a true Malachi song, like Headache or something like that, like something like way hard, like with like that really like, oh my eardrums just exploded from the bass in this thing. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So tell me about 21 Freestyle, because I know you kind of gave me a little bit of the background initially, so I didn't realize that it was like a thing about turning 21. What was it that made it go from just wanting to do like a meme thing you could put on Instagram to making it like the song that turned into a top 3 for the album?
Yeah, it absolutely is a top 3 for the album. The feedback I got on that song was just insane. And Malachi, like I said, he did so well. And like, it's funny because I'd made the song in the studio.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, Malachi, you want to hop on this? And he's like, yeah, just like literally 30 seconds later, he's like, I got something for this. He goes into the booth.
Wow.
And does that. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, this is like, and like you said, it is completely different than what he's made before.
Yeah.
And he's just so good, bro. He's so good at everything he does. Like he can make like a lo-fi song. He can make a very like a rage song, and then he can do that. He's very versatile. Like he has a lot of versatile stuff. And that song actually released on my birthday. That was one of the singles that released for the album. It came out on my birthday, like February 11th February 11th.
Okay.
And it was just so
nice.
Yeah, it was like one of those songs I was like, you know what? We're going to call this 21 Freestyle.
Yep.
We're going to release the music video. We're going to release a song on my birthday because, I'm turning 21 or whatever. And it was kind of a big deal. And he did so good, man. Like, it wasn't one of those songs like, when you listen to it, it's just a catchy song, just a fun song we did for shits and giggles. And it turned out very good. And, you touched on like how all the music videos for Underside are in the garage. And that's true. It's like, it's almost an iconic spot at this point. Because it's like all of their great music videos have come from there, and then I got to do a music video with Malachi in the same place, and that was really cool for me. I'd never had a music video before, and that was my first music video, And I thought it was really
Cool.
cool that I got to do it with Underside Records and, you know, the collab and everything with Schmitty mixing it. And then you have Malachi like hopping on the verse and everything. It was just so perfect. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely a top 3 on the album. And, man, Malachi did so great. Like I said, he just went in the booth, did his thing. He didn't have anything written down. He just went in there and freestyle. That's what the song was. It was a 21 freestyle. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like
and that is impressive because
it is.
I'm horrible at it, regardless of how long I've been doing music. Where it's like you'd think after enough time, you just do music. Oh, you just get better at that by osmosis. Nope.
Yeah.
Like absolutely not. So I'm just like I didn't know he could freestyle at all. He's never mentioned. Not that like, oh, not that you would like, hey, my name's Malachi, I can freestyle. Like, okay, that's not how our conversation went. But
Yeah.
like in a general way, like I didn't know he could do it. And just to know how difficult it is in a general way to like, oh, he just did that. Oh, wow. Like I'm impressed. I'm really impressed because I think it also was too, like he really so understood the assignment. Like
He did.
He's getting on your song. He's
Yeah.
not bringing the Malachi thing about his music to your song. He's really like, you know, like I'm trying to think of what the right word is, but like he is just so like molding and like really like evolving into that song in the way you as an artist want. You know,
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
did it like such an amazing job.
He did a fantastic job. It was like, because, you know, I've heard a lot of Malachi's music, and like you said before, it's a lot different than what I make.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very good, but it's just a lot different than what I make. And it's like, he gets on that, and it kind of exceeded my expectation in a way.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that he could like match my energy and like match kind of what I was talking about in the song. And, you know, do like the flow was just so good. He got on that and he made a legit like hip hop rap song, and it wasn't like what he's used to making. So I was like very, like, you know, I've listened to that song a million times, and I'm just like, dude, like that's the standout thing in that song for me. You know, it's not the chorus or anything. It's just the fact that Malachi could get on that and make such a good, like, he did so well with what I gave him. You know what I mean?
Totally. No, agreed. I mean, it in a lot of ways, if you want to relate it to something maybe more life-wise, it's like being varsity on football and then just moving over to go play on the tennis team and then also killing it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's completely playing a different sport. Like, it's not like, oh, you just a different position on the same team. Like, nope, it's a completely different thing and a completely different set of rules. Like, so that I agree with you that in this term for this one direct song, Malachi is the thing that really enhances it and brings it up to like that 10. Where I'm like, okay, you brought that 8.5. But the thing that makes that damn near perfect is Malachi and like how different he does sound. Where I'm like, damn, Malachi, please do more of these too, because these are really good. Really
we got
good.
more coming. We got more coming. We talked about doing a project together, just us two, like
nice,
just a Malachi Manson Babyyy J project, like kind of that same type of beat, like the jerk beat. You know what I mean? We talked about doing that before, and I think we're still gonna do it. I'm not sure exactly what he's working on right now because I haven't been in the studio in a couple months. I took a couple months off after the album release because I felt like, wow, I mean, dude, I lost my voice making this album. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I literally lost my voice for a week. Like, you can ask Schmitty and Malachi, dude. Like, I lost my voice. I worked so hard that it just went away. And like, that's definitely something I still want to go into though. Is like a project with Malachi because he's so good and he understands how the music industry works a lot better than I do. He understands all the networking and stuff like that. He's just he's phenomenal, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you know, there's, you know, just having, you know, been around in different, you know, areas of, you know, just work and life and different things. And, there's definitely always sometimes like, hey, you know what, we all bring something to the table, but there's always sometimes like with anybody, like you just see that something extra, something different where you're like, okay, there is something there that's different a little bit outside of like what everybody's kind of bringing to the table. And, where it's like from that networking side, from the work he puts in, I'm like, all right, good for you. You are showing up in a different way. And I think that that's important just to let like, oh, hey, you know what? It's good to keep yourself around those type of people because to keep you motivated in that way is important.
Yeah, it is.
It
It definitely is for sure.
Like Louis is one of those people too. He is a person where I'm just like, wow, like, you have some definite like things like where if like, oh, if I, like if I had like a kid or whatever, like, like different things that he has where I'm just like, I wouldn't do this. And yet you're doing it, making all these things a success, like because of that, because of what he did is why we're here with Artists on Artists.
Right. Yeah,
so it's like it had to start somewhere and it started with him and look at what it's grown into, type of thing. And that not everybody could succeed in doing what he's doing up to this point where I'm just like, wow, like it's really impressive. Like that is something a little bit different. So I think with you two, I would love to be able to absolutely hear another song. And I'm definitely happy to know that you guys have already talked about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've talked about it. And I think, as long as he's still on board for it, I think that's something that's definitely coming in the future is just a collab, even if it's like 6 or 7 songs, just a collab project with us too, man. Because, I mean, I feel like we mesh. And, I even want to hop on some of the songs he has. Like, he's shown me songs, and it's like, okay, this is super different, but I can make it.
Yeah.
I can do it in my own way that works, you know what I mean? That's what he did with 21 Freestyle. It's not his genre, but he still came into it and still did a great job.
Killed it.
And I want to do he killed it, man. And I want to do something like that with him, like on one of his songs. He has so many songs that are so good that aren't released that I've heard, you know what I mean, just by being over in the studio with him. And I want to hop on some of them. So I think that's definitely something that's coming in the future is a little collab with us too.
Nice. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, so now let me give a quick pause. Let me let you guys know that we are about to make a change. Okay, we are about to head to the corner of 10th and Music. All right.
All right.
So let's head over there. All right, guys. So we are now here at the corner of 10th and Music. So also in your mind as well, let's switch gears a little bit. Now we're going to focus directly on Motion. Okay, let's learn more about the album itself and, more of those specifics so that, again, like I said earlier, after you get done with this interview, go directly to your favorite platform of choice, look up Babyyy J, BABYYY and run up those numbers. And I can promise you that I am so impressed with how good Motion is that you will want to be pressing play again just to get blown away for the second time, at least maybe 20 times like I've done. But, you don't have to be as crazy as me, but maybe you want to be worse. I'm not saying how you should live. But we are now here at the corner of 10th and Music. Let me actually really quickly stop sharing that so that I can bring back up YouTube Music so we can focus on that. Because one of the things that I wanted to be able to start with, and again, just kind of being like, let's get the easy stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
When was the official release date for Motion?
Officially, I wanted it to come out in, I think it was April or May. Like, it was going to come out this month. And
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But like Schmitty, like I said, he did such a good job at just progressing the album.
Yeah.
That like once we had it's a 16 song album. It's a full album.
Yep.
Once we had 16 on there, I was like, you know what, man? Like, I don't think we need to like push for 20. Like originally I was going to go for 13 or 14 and we got more than what I thought we would get. and we did it in a quicker time than I thought we would. That album did take a long time, like very like so many studio sessions, man. Like probably 10 plus studio sessions just going in there and making sure everything sounded right.
Yeah.
But I did decided to release it. I think it was March 17th. Is that what it says? March
Ooh, actually.
17th? I'm not sure.
me
It was
check.
like March 17th was the when it actually came out, I think.
Okay.
But it's sometime in March. I really don't remember the day, but
Yeah.
it was originally going to come out in like April or May, and it just came a lot quicker because of how well everything sounded. And once I put the album together, I put all the songs together, you know, I was like, you know what, I think it's ready. Like, and you know, obviously I've gotten good feedback from it. Um, I've had a lot of people tell me like it's one of their favorite albums of this year, which is really cool because I didn't know that I could, you know what I mean? I didn't know I could do something like that.
Yeah.
So, it it means a lot, you know, that I have people that really do care about the music I'm putting out there, and you know, so yeah, it came out in March, but it was supposed to come out like this month or last month, but
Gotcha.
it's yeah.
Nice. Okay. So then we have the release of Motion. Now talk to me a little bit about the cover art that we see here, because one of the things that I have noticed, and I think it is very cool on both sides, but I also wonder in the sense of, is this also what was going through your head as well, or was this maybe more so trying to match it into like an aesthetic? Because when I see this cover art, I see some of the songs that have been released by Malachi as well. That, and again, this is in no way. This is just a question, not anything like saying, "Oh, I don't enjoy this" or whatever. But it feels like this is almost underside, like this look and like some of the stuff that you're doing. I'm like, it feels like you have an aesthetic when I see your guys' music that's been released, where I'm like, it can't be just coincidence. Like that, not that they're all looking the same, but yet just this vibe and like kind of the, I can't think of what the word is, but like how it's like you can see you, but there's like
Mhm.
a person sitting on the couch, and then there's like this, the way that you change the look of like the shot. Oh, now you're in like this other space, like here too in the picture. Like it's just trippy and cool in this way. Like, is this what you had in your head about what you wanted it to be, or was there also sort of in a sense like an aesthetic that you were trying to like get to with that final look?
So it's funny you say that. And you know, I like to think I'm a part of the Underside family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the studio with them a lot. I
Yeah.
used to be like the past couple months. I haven't been as much because I just felt like I needed a break from that. Which you know, I'm getting back in the studio sometime next week. But
Nice.
you know, it's funny you say that. They shot that picture right there. They took
Mm-hmm.
that picture. That's on the couch that's in the Underside. You know, where we do all of our stuff, like the music videos. That's where we record music. That's that picture. Like it looks like stuff they've released because it's stuff that they've released. It's like they made that album cover for me. When I originally wanted the album cover to be,
Mm-hmm.
was kind of, it was a lot more stale than what I actually got. I didn't really think that I didn't know how it would look when they made it for me. They're like, "Yeah, we'll make the cover for you and we'll make it
Yeah.
look good." And I was just like, "Okay." I really wanted it to be like a close-up picture of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it kind of is, but it's not. Like they added the tint on it, and they just made it look so good. And that Malachi and Schmitty both worked on that album cover,
Okay.
and they made it look like how it's supposed to, like, you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine it looking a different way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, that definitely makes sense, because
Mhm.
I know I had mentioned it. I can't remember because it wasn't. I haven't done because if I do a second interview with Malachi in regards to the sense of if he becomes like a full admin, I remember talking to him because even some of the lines he said, I feel like, and now I didn't hear any of it directly from your, except for some of the maybe like the undecided, like like the thing that you guys do with that direct like terminology, but in general, like I heard some lines that he had used, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I've heard Schmitty use that. I feel like I've heard you use that direct line in this context in other songs. Like you're now trying to make me recognize it.
Yeah.
Like you want everybody on the team to be saying these things because you're trying to draw that attention also to the artistry, but then also to Underside too. So it just was interesting that I'm like still seeing it in that way, because I think that there is something to that where I'm just like, you know what? Yep. Like,
yeah.
As much as Louis talked about, Bozy wanting to have an aesthetic and focus on either direct colors or blah, 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 whatever. Like they're like you said, with the tint and with what they did with the picture, it is definitely like very, even though it's not Underside and like their name isn't like anywhere on the actual like piece of it, that I am, like it's cool that they are trying to bring along this. Yep. This is some of the kind of look and what we're going for. And yet they've really like stuck to it. So from a marketing standpoint, like they are doing their jobs well.
They're doing phenomenal. But man, it's like, I'm not like, I'm so grateful for them. Like Underside is such a unique and like, it's just so, it's like a family, you know what I mean? Like we all, there's all love there. And it's like, we, even outside of music, like there's stuff that we can talk about that's like, like me and Malachi will talk about like wrestling, or me and Schmitty will talk about just, basic shit in life. Yeah. It's like, it's a family. And, for a little bit, I didn't know if I was really Underside or not. I was kind of in the middle. I was like, I'm kind of Underside, but I'm kind of not. I'd like to think I am now. They might tell you different, but I don't think they would. I think they would consider me as an Underside. What do you call that? Like a part of the group, you know what I mean? Like I'm in Underside. They made my album cover. They engineered my album.
Right.
They did a great job, and it's just like they mixed my album, all that. Like without Underside, man, this album wouldn't have been as close to as good of it as it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And let's talk about that, because one of the things that I didn't put into maybe the initial set of questions was the fact about the music video. Yeah. Because I was really impressed with it, where in the sense that I've been actually pretty impressed with a lot of like the visual content that I've seen Schmitty putting out, that I've seen Malachi putting out, and now this one too, because it's so simple, but yet it's so direct to the point. And, does it clearly look like you like you had like a $10,000 videographer and blah, blah, blah? Like, no, but that's not the point. Like, in the sense, like, I don't like it less or think that it's not good simply just because what they're going for is not in the same vein of like, what I'm going for when I've shot the music videos that I've done, because I do want them to have a little bit more of a cinematic quality to it, or I want, just a different type of look. But every time I watch one of the videos, I'm like, wow, this gets the point across so well. It's good. So well made. And yet I bet this costs nothing, maybe more than the time and like food, booze, whatever, like that you had like while you were making it. But it wasn't like this massive, like this took months to be able to put together because of all of the stuff you had to do.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's something to be said about, hey, it's that consistency, Underside,
they're so
Babyyy J,
consistent.
Malachi,
Yeah.
like whatever the thing is. So tell me about that process of bringing the music video together.
Well, they're so consistent in the way they do the Underside music videos and just
Yeah.
everything Underside. They're so consistent with dropping music. They're so consistent with doing the videos. Even the little snippet, I don't know if you saw it a couple days ago. They dropped a it might have been like a week ago by now, but they dropped like this thing where they're like chopping each other, like you
Yeah.
know, they're like wrestling each other almost.
Yeah.
That's like such great marketing. Like they're so
is.
good at marketing. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, man. And I hope they're listening to this right now because like I'm not just
Oh,
trying
they
to
are.
talk them up. I'm just like I'm straight up just being honest. Like they're so consistent with just everything they do.
Yeah.
They understand the music industry better than anyone I've ever known, and they see a vision
Yeah.
that is gonna work for them, and it's gonna work for us as at Underside. It's gonna work. Like we're
Yeah.
like I told Schmitty a couple months ago. Like we're all going up together. You know, it's not like one of us is better than any of the others. You know, we're all equals. We're all working on this Underside together, and it's a big thing, man. Like you don't have many people in from around where we're at. You don't have many like companies, I guess, that you know, work together. Sorry, the way that we do.
Yeah.
It's just so like we think everything out, especially those two. I mean, you know, they live together and everything. They're so great, and like they do things sometimes even that I don't I don't know about.
Yeah.
And then I see it get dropped on Instagram or something, and I'm just like, or YouTube, and I see it like, damn, dude, like they're just so consistent and they're so good at everything. Like,
Yeah.
I hope they realize that. You know what I mean? I hope like they're a big part of motion, and they're a big part of just their marketing geniuses. Like the stuff they do is just so it gets people interested, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm just so impressed with like Underside as a what do you call that? Not a company, but like I guess it is a company in a way, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just they're so good at just like marketing, and they stick to the same aesthetic. They do these videos, like they'll drop videos from like they'll do edits and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that often, you know what I mean? Like that's really like I don't know. They just do such a good job at what they do. And I couldn't appreciate them more for like what they've done and helping me. Like they're a big part of my journey, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and I think that it is actually that's actually really that is profound what you just said right there in the sense of like just understanding like how young you really are. It's like, no, actually that's a really important part too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like you're like, oh yeah, after I retired at 80, okay, I guess I decided to just figure out this music thing. Like, all right, we've all lived our own lives. Like, nope.
Yeah.
You haven't like lived like a full life, like in the sense of like, oh no, you are still like a young man. Like, so it's like you've still got a ton of time. Like, I can't even begin to think about like how much music you put out 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Let alone a year, or even a month or two, So I mean, that's really cool. So
yeah,
fill me in a little bit more, like when you're there on the day of shooting the music video. Was it, like what were some of the things that like were either left on the marketing floor, or some of the ideas that you had for maybe a storyboard or a vision for the video of what you wanted to see?
Honestly, man, they have the same vision as me in a way. Like,
okay,
they have like the way they shoot the video, and like they'll change the lighting. Like, it's all in a garage from what you saw, the video you saw, and most of the Underside videos are. And it's like the videos they shoot though, they'll do like they have this this light that can change colors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like they understand like the vibe of the song and they know what color to put with it. like
Gotcha. Okay.
kind of like the green and yellow, or the green and blue aesthetic of 21 Freestyle.
Yeah.
I don't have you seen the cover of the single for 21 Freestyle?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
hmm
So
With the two of you sitting next to each other.
yeah, so it
Yep.
matches exactly what the music video is. So they have ideas that, I wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, let's go out here and let's just have a fun time with this music video. But they make it in a way that's like it just matches it so well.
Yeah.
So, the day of that we shot the video, it was just kind of like I think it was like the session after we made the song. I was like, yo, I want to do a music video. And they're
Mhm.
like, let's do one for 21 Freestyle. And I was like, okay, let me see. Like, I didn't have many ideas for it because
Yeah.
it's just a freestyle. It's just a fun song. And that's what makes the way they shot it so well is like, you know what I mean? I can't explain it, but it's like the way they shot it is like as if a freestyle would have been shot. Like they understand it, man. They just understand. They understand the way that marketing works, and they understand the way that music works, and it's really impressive. And like Underside is just like I believe in them more than anything else. Like they're so good,
Yeah. I love
and
that.
they're great people too. It's like
Right.
I'm not gonna dog on anyone. I'm not gonna start controversy, but they are great people, and they're better than most people that I've worked with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. Well, and I think the idea of keeping a good team around you is very, very
Yeah.
important.
Mhm.
So let's focus a little bit just on you for a second. Let's, just myopic view of Babbyy J.
Okay.
So March, I think you said 17th, you release Motion.
Yeah, something like that around there.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah. So we know that this whole album is fantastic. I mean, I hope that it is, I hope like, okay, yes, maybe my praise is effusive, but at the same time, like, I hope my thing, it feels like the norm. Like for once you release the album that, people are just loving it. But
Yeah.
let's future kind of forward, thinking about the rest of 2025, maybe into 2026, like what is up next for Babbyy J? Like in the sense of what do you have planned? Is there anything you can already let us know about? Like, is there anything that's on the docket that is actually worth actually letting us know?
Well, I'm not sure. I guess I'd say that right now, I don't want my preview. I don't want Motion to sound like the next project. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out kind of where I'm gonna go with my music. I want to change it up a little bit. I want to do something different than Motion.
Okay.
And so Malachi pitched a couple things to me the other night. He was just like, maybe you should do some hyper pop, or maybe you should do like almost like a hip hop metal type of thing.
Okay.
Because he thinks, he says I have the voice for it, and I'm like, you know what? So right now, as of today, I'm looking into beats, just kind of like figuring out where my next step is.
Cool.
Like what the next album's gonna be. But I do plan on releasing a project by the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's a good
Yes,
goal
sir.
too.
Yes, sir.
Especially in the sense of releasing in March, like actually giving yourself that basically almost 9 months, as opposed to like for me with releasing the Long Journey for Balance, like,
Mhm.
yes, okay, maybe real life wise, no, the whole album wasn't ready to go at the beginning, like as of 1/1/25.
Uh-huh.
But it was pretty close into January in the sense of had some other BS not happened, like it would have been ready to go months ago, let
Yeah,
alone,
right.
easily a month ago, whatever. And so it is just been one of those things where it's like, okay, if I would have been able to release this like you in March, oh, I would have felt so much better about wanting to get the other two, one more mixtape and then one more like big album for this year too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you do have that as a big goal. And is the next album also this one that you were talking about where you're kind of changing up that style and maybe moving into like a new genre for
Yeah.
some of the tracks?
For sure.
Okay.
That's one thing about me is like I feel like I'm pretty versatile. I can do different things.
Yep.
A lot of people are like on my ass about they're just like, bro, you need to release like a deluxe version of Motion. Just add like 5 or 6 songs. Like a lot of people want a deluxe version of Motion.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, honestly, where I was at when I made Motion is not where I'm at now mentally.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I want to make another album like the same, you know what I mean? Like I want to move on. Like I want to do something different.
Yeah.
Whether people like it or not, I want to do something different. And I'm sure people, like I don't know. I want to have different beats. I want to have a different style to it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what I'm best at. And if I want, maybe in a year or two from now, if I want to return to kind of like the style of Motion,
Yeah.
I might, you know what I mean? But it's like, as of right now, I feel like I'm over that stage in my life, and I kind of want to move on to something different. So I definitely want to make something that sounds different, something new that people that are fans of me haven't heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got a good goal ahead. You're already starting to work on it. I think you could be able to make it happen. And, when you release those singles, definitely send them my way as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I will also help you promote.
100%. I appreciate that, man. I will
Love
definitely
that.
send you anything that releases.
Absolutely. No, of course. And then, and we've already talked about it, but we'll definitely get some work together with you and I going as well.
Oh, yeah.
And soon as I can get more like mental space available once this album releases, boom, then I will be, much, much better. But so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, kind of again, still focusing on Motion, because it's something that you'd mentioned earlier to me just in DMs, but also tonight, with just a comment or two, was the fact that it's like you had said that, I don't know if it was all, but you said a good majority of the beats were, from YouTube, like just ones that you picked that you really love the sound of, and then boom, now we have Motion.
Yeah. It was all of them.
Is there any thought for the next album to be, and not like, oh, Schmitty would be the only one that you would get beats from, but like as a producer who I think does beats, like, is there a thought to like having more of that like true album where it's like, I actually own all these beats, I can, make money from every one of these songs? Like, is that a goal too? Or is it more like Motion, like just kind of picking the things I love the best and then moving forward?
Well, it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
There's a lot of beats on YouTube that I think sound so good, and
Yeah.
I like when I find one, I can't pass it up. If it really stands out to me, I can't pass it up. I do want Schmitty to make, which he has probably 100,000 beats in the vault. Like, this guy's a hard worker. He makes beats all day. And so I do want to use some Schmitty beats. There was a guy a couple months ago, I can't remember his name, and I do apologize. I can't remember his name, but he sent me like about 10 beats, and I made a couple songs to him, just on BandLab, because that's what I do. I go on BandLab first.
Okay.
I kind of make a song, and if it sounds good, then I go to the studio, and obviously Schmitty makes it sounds better. But it's gonna be a mixture of both. I want some YouTube beats because a lot of them stand out to me.
Yeah.
And then I also want a lot of what Schmitty's doing because I think I could do something with him. And then there's that other guy. I really can't remember his name for some reason. It's like it's on the top. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
But he's really good. And he's made some beats for me. He sent them to me, and he's like, I'd like you to do something with these. And then I have done something with him. I just haven't gone to the studio with him yet. And
Gotcha.
That's definitely something I want to do though.
Nice. Okay. Nice. I like that. All right. So then now we've kind of been able to, focus a little bit more on motion, talked about, the cover art, talked about the music video. Do you think for the next album, do you believe that you'll do the same level, like 12 to 16 again? Do you think you'll maybe go closer to that 12 level, like, just over double digits? Or do you think you'll push that 16 to 20? Like, because I look at 16 and I'm like, no, 16 is a good number. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's a
get
lot.
really over that 15, get close to 20. I'm like, okay. Like,
Yeah, 16 is
that's
a
some
lot.
number. That's some work on there. So what's your thought on the next one?
My thought on the next one, it's funny you ask, because I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, how many songs do I want to kind of produce for the next album?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's in, this summer or whether it's in November, December-ish. I'm like, man, how many do I want to do? And I think that like my sweet spot for this next album would be like 13. I feel like that would be kind of where I go with it, because I want to make it more not that 16 is bad. Like I feel like I did really good with 16 songs, but it's a lot, and it took a lot out of me. So maybe if I just do a couple less songs, like I could make more projects, you know what I mean, in the future. So I'm thinking probably 13, maybe 14 max for the next album.
Cool. Okay, I like that. Nice. And
Yeah.
now, because I think one of the other things too that you had mentioned earlier about the cover art, was that, maybe one of your initial thoughts was that, okay, I will do, I'll do one where it's more focused just on me, and maybe different mindset of where your initial thought was from what the final came up to. But that's what I really liked about the music video too, where I felt like a lot of the initial thought of like where you thought the cover art would go, the music video was able to focus on you a lot, and I like how much it was just you sitting on the couch, you singing the song, doing little, like moving your arms around and doing little dance moves and stuff, and then being there at the garage and just dancing around that and just kind of doing dumb stuff, like just having a good time. So I mean, I think that again, like we talked about earlier, I think the thing that I'm the most impressed about just in general is like how well this whole album is put together, how well your dynamic is with Schmitty and Malachi and just Underside in a general way. But just the whole, like it's just more so like the thing I'm just trying to get across is that mindset of like, none of this was done not on purpose. Like you had a hand in every aspect and foresight and mental, like, okay, we're going to put this here because 10 steps from now, this will fit into this spot that I haven't gotten all the way like finished yet or whatever. So I think that's the thing I'm the most impressed about it. And knowing that this is really like the first full project you put together.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of really makes me feel like, wow, this is the first one. So the more knowledge you gain and the better you build that foundation, I wouldn't then just assume that the next album just falls apart. So I feel like you're standing on a really good footing. I can't wait to see what you do with the next one.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's definitely something that Underside Records is so they do such a good job at like helping me put together everything.
Yeah.
With motion.
Yeah.
That I'm definitely gonna get their insight on it, and I'm gonna see what they think for the next album, and it's gonna be put together in a similar way.
Yeah.
Like everything's gonna make sense where it's placed, and they're so great at understanding, but then also like they do such a good job at promotion and everything. I think my next album will definitely be more it'll be a lot different, but it'll be more focused on like I want to do a couple more music videos. Cool. I only had one music video for Motion, the 21 Freestyle obviously. Yeah. I want to do a couple more like for future projects. Oh yeah, cuz I mean they're so good at just putting together music videos and just everything they do, and like that's another thing with even promotion, it was like I was kind of lost because like I would just kind of make a song, you know,
Mhm.
and then I wouldn't promote it. Like that before I met, you know, before I really got into Underside.
Yeah.
I've known Schmitty for years, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I've known
Oh, you
Schmitty
have?
for
Okay.
oh yeah, I've known him for 4 or 5 years. Like we met when we used to work together at a high school job. We used to work together, and I've known him for years. And so finally, you know, the back end of last year, I just thought, well, maybe we should, you know, maybe we should do something together. And
Mhm.
like Motion just it exceeded my expectations, and I definitely want to do more with Underside. Obviously, I'm super involved with them, and you know, I mean, I look at them as like family to me, you know, because they just you know they've done so much for me,
Yeah.
and I definitely want to work with them more. You know, hopefully we can make it work and do another album together. Obviously, but yeah, definitely more music videos. They've taught me how to do promotion so well.
Cool.
It's like they're like, you know, yo, you need to promote this song and like drop it on Instagram and do different things. Kind of like instead of just like standing in front of a TikTok camera and
Mhm.
like singing the song, like that's not gonna get me. Like people get bored of that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like some of the stuff they've showed me what to do with it has definitely helped. And people y'all you know they'll see a lot more of that with
Yeah.
the next project. This one, I don't want to say this project was rushed. It wasn't rushed. It took like a better half of 4 or 5 months. Like literally, I spent 4 or 5 months on just this album.
Wow.
And you know, the next one though, I think that we would benefit if we spent 7 8 months on it because then we could do
Mm.
more music videos,
Mhm.
more promotion,
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's like, you know, I don't want to promise anything. The goal obviously is to get one more project out by December.
Gotcha.
But you know, just by the end of the year, just get another project out. But if we can't, then that's okay. You know what I mean? I just want it to be. I want people to like it as much as they like Motion because I feel like Motion
Sure.
did really good.
It is. It is really good.
I appreciate
So
it.
now I wanted to do one final song, and then I've got kind of, one question left, and then, I'll kind of pass it over to you to end us off for
Okay.
this interview. But I also wanted to thank you for such a fantastic interview as well. It has been as much fun about learning more about this musical journey and like what you've been doing as I was hoping it would have been. So I very much appreciate your time as
Yeah.
well, just for everything we've gone over tonight. So I really appreciate apparently when I get to work with these Underside guys, it goes pretty damn well. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that, sir.
I do. I
But one of the
appreciate
other
you
songs I
too.
wanted to focus on was Prophecy. One of the four
Yes.
singles you
Yes.
yes, and you said was probably your favorite on the album.
100%.
One of my favorites as well. I do love this song. And there was probably no, never mind. We're gonna do two songs because I want to do Goodbye so bad.
That
I
one. That
love
one.
Goodbye.
That one, man. Yeah,
Now,
that hits me hard.
did you just very recently, because I swear last week when I was very first listening to the album, Goodbye was the final song, but now I feel like the track is like there's other songs after that now.
No, when I released it, I haven't changed the release order of them, so
Okay.
it has been the same since it released. But
Okay.
Goodbye is probably the last like song on the album that's really like a standout song. Like I think that was number 11 if I'm not wrong. 12 through 16 they weren't bad songs, but they weren't like that one was like gravitational. Like
Yeah.
it's funny all the songs you've played for the stream tonight have been my favorite songs on the album. You know, starting with Motion, Apology, Way Over You, Prophecy, and Goodbye. That'd be like my top 5. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that other people see that as their top 5 on the album as well. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, man.
Okay, well, perfect. So then we're gonna do both because I realized I'm like, oh shoot, we didn't even get to Goodbye, which means that there's still two that we did not get to tonight. I think there was close to like 8 that I was like, man, I might not get to all of them, but if I do, that's a good day. So let me pull this back to the stage again, and we will listen to Prophecy, and then I will do a quick little pause and then move over to Goodbye as well, because I cannot end this stream without playing both of these songs. So again, you guys, this is Prophecy to start it off.
I'm damn near driving 90 in the rain just to get to you. Cause lately I've been missing you. All things the same, I've been oppressed, and it's all cause of you. Yeah, it's all cause of you. And if I find somebody, girl, you gon' be tripping on me. Thought I'm the player, but girl, you the one that played on me. I think you crazy for that shit, you lost a real OG. I'm Babyyy J, don't need no bitch, and that's on dead homie. So I'll pave the way, I'll be state to state, show after show. I'm always on go, I stay down 10 toes, I'm reaching my goal. I'm the prophecy that they chose, and everyone's gonna know. Don't get it twisted, I'm still grinding on my mission. I got motion now, but damn, I think the charge is what I'm missing. Don't bring your hoe around, cause she'll be topping me for some commission. I know that's bold to say, but if she on my phone, just know I'm hidden. And girls in the day, I'm ashamed. Post my clarity got me thinking of your name. I really miss what we had, I think that's safe to say.
Oh yeah, easily one of my favorites, bro. That's definitely my favorite on the album.
I love that one as well. And now we did the quick pause, so let's just get right into Goodbye.
Let's do it.
Bought you what you wanted and it still wasn't enough. You said that we've been toxic, but it's you I'm calling your bluff. Then you said goodbye, I'm calling you cause I'm faded. I'm saying sorry for my bad behavior, and I know that them first made me crazy. I put them down, even asked God to save me. That wasn't me, I can show you who I am. We'll take a one-way trip out to Thailand. Feel at all of your plans into my plans. Trust what I say, put your hands into my hands. I could love you forever, you only seem to want pleasure. You did me dirty, I got a vendetta. I get you cause I need that shit mega. I'm no sucker, baby, ain't no busting in me. Would've gave you love instead, I'll drop a 50 on myself to prove that you ain't fucking with me. You're the devil, should've known you're fucking pretty. Like why the bad girls always so bad? So bad, so bad, so bad. Make love then stab you in the back. In the back, in the back, in the back. Just don't understand this shit. I'm finna go ghost any phantom shit. Honestly, I didn't plan to dip, but this shit wasn't random, bitch. You broke my heart, I had plans to switch. If you flip the switch, I got fans from it. It's safe to say I'm okay.
I mean, come on.
Come on, right?
Like, I don't know if I have to explain why I had to play them both, but I think they explain themselves.
Yeah.
Sure. But no, I love both of these songs. And I think that even though, yes, Goodbye maybe wasn't truly the last technical song on the album, to me, like, I like all of the songs that are after those. But there is this feeling like, no, this is where you meant to end the album. And then those other ones were just like almost like that was the
deluxe.
The deluxe. Thank you. That was the word.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the deluxe. Because Goodbye, I mean, oh my God. Oh, only if you can. We'll take a one-way trip out to Thailand. I'm like, oh my, that's so good.
Yes.
And yet every time, because of the change up that you have with the voice, where it's like, it's always a little bit singy, but then sometimes it's, but it's safe to say I'm not. So you go up high, and then you go up and you go down a little low, but then you kind of always stay in this really fun middle ground.
Right.
But because of the moving around, I'm just like, dude, this song is so good. And for this to be the one that comes right after Prophecy, like I just love how well these ones, like we talked about, like the beginning, like those first three just felt so purposeful that there is like Prophecy to end it with Goodbye just feels like, man, that felt on purpose.
Yeah,
And yet the other four after this, which are all good,
it was.
do feel more like the deluxe.
It was on purpose. I definitely feel like it's like sometimes I think I'm like, damn, is my next project gonna be as well put together? Because like it's just so. I felt like that's one thing I nailed was how well put together the album was. You know what I mean?
It really was.
I'm not trying to like gas myself up or anything, but I felt like I put that project together so well, and just all the songs fit in the right place. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Well, and I think that, you know, and I mean, and it's not like, oh, I think that because I do this, that I'm doing it the right way, or that
Right.
because I do this, I'm definitely doing it the wrong way. Like, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's just more so that the more you have engaged and that you are taking the time to sit down with your album and be like, okay, where do I want to start this? Where do I want to end this? Like,
Yeah.
if you were an author, you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end somewhere, even
Yeah.
if that takes 1,000 pages or 5. Like,
Right.
there has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end at some point. And yet I feel like when I listen to this album, I'm like, the amount of effort and time and thought it just
So much.
feels like went into it, that there's that mindset of like, you can tell, you know, when they went into nothing and they just said, "Bleh, here you go.
Yeah.
Here are the songs. Hey, wherever they end up is it is as it is. Yep, it is what it is. Oh, blah, blah,
Right.
blah." Yeah. Is it?
Right.
Or could you have been so much more engaged and much more involved?
Yeah.
Like, yes, does it mean that maybe you don't get to release it on this exact day, or you know that you want to have like the whole thing finished before you start giving like final dates or whatever? Like, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
yet, if you're a person like me and you know the work and the energy and the effort you put into putting out your music, when you hear it in somebody else, you're just like, oh, it's another one. Oh, I didn't know any of us else existed. Like,
Right.
you know, so
Yep.
it's that mindset where I'm just like, I see what you're doing. And again, like we talked about, if this is the first project, I don't exactly believe that you're going to somehow now no longer give a shit about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I just did all this work to get to this point, and now I'm just going to completely let it go because it feels like it's just part of what you do.
Yeah. I agree. It's you know, and I appreciate you like pointing that out because I did work so hard on this, and I put so much time and effort and thought into this. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, and a lot of people, 6 months isn't a long time. It took like 6 months to make this, but it for 16 songs, like a lot of artists, you know, and I'm not trying to downgrade any other artists, but a lot of them will make music and just release it. And it's like, well, I made more songs than that. Like
Yeah.
there was songs that didn't make the album, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I picked the songs that I felt like were best suited for the album, and then I sat down and it took me like a week to just put the songs where I thought they should go. And
Yeah.
I definitely did work hard and put a lot of effort into it. So, I'm glad that other people see that I did do that. It's not just like a me thing.
Yeah.
It's like other people do understand and appreciate what I did.
Absolutely. No, 100%. Well, and I just wanted to be able to let you guys know, officially. So I individually, I do not have any more direct questions that I wanted to, specifically review with Babbyy J tonight. But I just kind of wanted to give the floor over to you, Babbyy J, and just, kind of, you can go over stuff that we already went over, but I just kind of want to be able to give you the floor and say, tell us about what you want us to know, either what you've got coming up or just you kind of got that floor. So just tell us about what you want to know.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, one thing I want you to know is Babbyy J isn't going nowhere. I definitely have another project that I want to work on. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with the music yet for the next project, but it's gonna be hopefully just as special as Motion was, because I listened like my first when the album dropped. I listened to it with my brother, and he like we did the little screen share thing. You know what I mean? Where we could both hear it at the same time, because I just wanted to hear like the album start to finish, fully put together on platform, not like me just listening to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when it dropped, we listened to it on platform, and yeah, I want to do more. I want to do another one for sure by the end of the year. That's basically all I can say. Another thing I could say is I definitely want to perform. I want to get on stage and get people to know more about Babbyy J and get to listen to Babbyy J and expand just not just me but Underside as a family, because like I said, a lot of this interview, I've said it a lot. I'm not trying to like glaze Underside or anything. I'm not trying to like it's true, man. Like I really believe that if it weren't for them, this album wouldn't have come together the way it did.
Yeah.
And so much respect to them, much appreciation, much love for them, man. They're such hard workers, and they just went to Houston a couple months ago and did a show, and they're just phenomenal. And I want people to realize that, you know what I mean? I didn't want this podcast to be all about me, because a lot of me has been Underside as well, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
So I want yeah, but for the future of Babbyy J himself, another album is definitely coming.
Nice. I love that. I love that. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for everybody that joined us, for everybody that's been rocking with us this entire episode. Thank you so much, you guys. We're, just, rocking over 2 hours right now. So again, thank you so much for everybody joining in. This was another amazing episode. So thank you so much, Babbyy J, for for all of your time. Again, for just being such an amazing, artist, and for coming on and, allowing me to put the spotlight onto you. And, I'm sure that you won't be the last Underside person that I'll interview. And then we'll definitely, work together in the future, on actual music too. So I'm excited about that. But again, you guys, this has been episode 27 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight. And this week we got to put that spotlight right here on my guy, Babbyy J.
Thank you
guys,
so much.
make sure as soon as we get done with this interview, Babyyy J, so 3 Ys, go over to your favorite streaming platform of choice. Take a listen to Babbyy J. Take a listen to Motion. Maybe 20 times. Try to take me at that and beat me at 40. And we'll all meet in the middle. All right? But guys, again, thank you so much for another fantastic episode. Babbyy J, thank you again for all of your time and all of your, just amazing talent and being able to let us experience that today. It's been amazing. So guys, thank you so much for everybody that was rocking with us, Underside, for everybody that was hanging out. I really appreciate it. We'll be here next week. Babbyy J, yes.
Can I say something real quick just before we go off air here, man? I just want to say I appreciate everything. You've talked really good about me, and I appreciate it. And you are a phenomenal interviewer. You ask the right questions at the right time, and you're great. I think everyone should listen into this podcast or interview, whatever you want to call it. It's really top notch, man. It's so good, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, absolutely. Well, you guys, I think we'll end it there. So thank you again so much. Thank you for that love. Thank you for that support, and we'll see you guys next week.
All righty.
Much love. Peace, you
Much
guys.
love. Yep.
What up? It's your boy RPG. Red, purple, gold. Kilos. Panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My heart is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold. Luxury in my life is all I know. It's all I know. But I will never sell my soul. Never sell it. I won't.